Greetings everyone, I'm Sophis. I've got another Age of Wonders video for you to talk about a different game mechanic. Capturing enemies to then recruit them is something that can be done in many ways, and in most cases there are some enemies you simply cannot recruit. Usually anything at tier 5 tends to be out of reach. So what I want to showcase today is the surest method to capture any enemy unit you might want. There are several combinations you can use to capture enemies. The most straightforward method, of course, is through the Reavers, as Overseers have the Subdue ability. Their ability combines easily with the Harrier's Net ability, and this lets you capture a lot of non-hero units, so long as they don't have the control loss immunity. Another method is through a handful of magic items, units, and a Dominator hero ambition. Those grant the means to take control of an enemy unit. So long as the enemy is still under this effect when you end combat, you get the chance to recruit those units. Then there is the combination of using the society trait Merciless Slavers with the morale breaking strategies, which tomes like Doom Herald and Subjugation employ. This can be used to great effect and be a more passive means of acquiring new units. The one catch for all of those are the high tier units I mentioned at the start. They refuse to break even if they can be brought to very low morale, and they are immune to control methods. However, there is one way to bypass this. Such units only have those advantages as long as they are considered high tier units. You can change that by turning the unit into something else. If you manage to get your hands on a wand of polymorph, you can do this with any faction you want. But if you want to focus on the strategy, the Tome of Nature's Wrath has the Devolve combat spell. In either case, as long as the effect lands, the enemy gets turned into a weaker unit, which you can then capture or dominate however you see fit. If you want to improve your odds, here's a couple of status effects you should prioritize. The Hideous Stench trait is a passive and simple way to debuff enemy status resistance. Just leave any form unit adjacent to the enemy and they suffer a -2 to their status effect resistance. Then there's the Condemned effect, which many Order tomes and Order aligned abilities provide. This is another status resistance reduction effect. Then there is the Sundered resistance effect, which affects both normal resistance and status resistance. I have experimented with a few builds, but this is the one I landed on. I'll put the details on screen. As you can see in the test battles that I've been showcasing, control loss immunity does nothing to impede this strategy. If you end up playing a summoning mystic build with this, the upside is that any unit with the magic origin tag will be able to be promoted, even if it's not something you can ordinarily summon. It's a simple trick, and if you like the idea of having armies with all sorts of monsters that you usually only see as marauders, it's easy enough to pull off. Under ideal conditions, you can even make the chance of the Devolve spell hitting be 100%. And that's what I have for you today. I know for more experienced players this might be nothing new, but I figured I'd do a small video showcasing the trick to those unfamiliar with this possibility. So I hope you're having a good day and see you next time.